Hello, Todd Bog here with Breaking the Stream, and welcome to a new Let's Play of Conquest of Elysium 5. If you've been following the channel, you'll know that we just finished up our run with the Necromancer in Conquest of Elysium 5. We've got a live stream of the Barbarian as well that we finished the first part of, and we'll finish up tomorrow, or the same time this video is going up, the same day as a matter of fact. We'll finish up that playthrough as well. So definitely check out the channel if you are new to the channel, if you want your daily dose of Conquest of Elysium 5, as well as other games that we have on the docket as well. So yeah, I look forward to seeing you guys. But today we're going to go ahead and tackle a new class, the Pale One Commander. It's one we played in Conquest of Elysium 4, but we're going to give it a whirl in this one because they have made some neat changes to it. First of all, we start underground in Agartha instead of on the surface, and so that'll be a neat little change too. So yeah, we're going to explore it and see what it's about. That said, as always, this will be beginner friendly and will be played to completion. So if you're new to the series, you're new to the game, you're new to the channel, don't worry, we'll get you covered. And obviously, if you have any questions, please leave a comment. And I do answer all comments, so we will get you the answer you need in order to help your game. So, on that note, please hit that like button and definitely hit that subscribe button so you can keep your daily dose of Conquest of Elysium going. So we're going to hit start new game. We always play on a large map. We do a random society because it's always fun to try and explore. These societies change up how the world will look and can definitely vary your gameplay. So if you know what you're looking for, you can select the right one to benefit your particular class. Most of these I keep the same except for battle reports. I turn that on, and we'll show you why. That's a very useful feature for those of you who've been playing Conquest of Elysium 4 and then jump to 5. This is something I highly recommend turning on, and you'll see. All right. So I play with 6 AIs on the count difficulty. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Count difficulty means they get double the resources that I do from the same stuff. So it makes them a little more challenging, and they can put together some armies that will require some thought to take down or deal with. So definitely an interesting one. I don't recommend jumping into this at this difficulty at all when you play the game, and obviously find the one that makes the best sense. Like, I could play at a higher difficulty and probably win, but it just isn't that fun for me, and for you guys it would probably just be boring because we'd have to basically take it steps at a time. So the count difficulty I found is the good balance between challenge and obviously entertainment. So we're going to do the pale ones. The pale ones are cool. So hit the info button. They're one-eyed creatures that evolved in the darkness underground. Because of that, their eyesight's not great. However, because they have a lot of underground lakes and rivers, they're amphibious as well. So some interesting things. That eyesight not being great means that when they're fighting, they miss attacks. In the game, you automatically hit with everything unless you have something that affects it. And so they miss out 1 out of every 5 attacks. So they're less effective at that way. They have oracles, which are priest mages of great power. The whole race gathers gems that can be used for summons or to divine the future. And we start as the King of the Deep. We're a very large pale one. We start with the Citadel and Agartha beneath the pit in Elysium. I'm very tough, but not as tough as some of the other large creatures, and you'll see why when we play. The poor eyesight we were talking about. Oracles can be recruited if temple sites are under our control. And oracles and earth breathers gather gems, and then gems, emeralds in particular, can be used for magic rituals. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to select them. And as you can see, there's a lot of different classes. And then I like to click the unique random player button so we get different races, so you can see all the different ones and how they interact. And more importantly, there's a few races that you can't select yourself, sort of Easter egg races that could possibly pop up in our game world. So, all right. We're definitely looking at something a little more interesting in terms of setup. This is our game map. Because we're this race, we actually start underground. So this gray area represents cave walls. This represents a path. We start with ourselves, as you can see. well, we'll hit the T button. As you can see, we're very much larger than the normal troops we have under our power. So this is us. The two most important stats you're going to look at here for now, and then obviously the other ones will be useful in other ways later, is hit points. That's just how much damage you can take, and armor. And then, of course, damage down here from your weapon attacks. Armor is important because it basically reduces incoming damage by the amount you see. So he's not going to... Every attack that attacks him does 2 less damage. He also has a shield, which gives you another roll for damage, 0 to 1. So he blocks 2 to 3 damage on normal attacks and 2 to 4 damage against ranged attacks. He's also got the bad eyesight. We were talking, misses 20% of all attacks. He's got a 50% resistance to fire and cold, so he takes half damage against those. He's giant size, and we're going to be using that to full effect. He can basically move around much faster. And then he's got amphibious, so he can enter water squares. His spear does 1 to 4 damage normally, but because of his massive strength and size, he does another 23 damage on top of that. So what that means is not 1 to 4, you roll that die and then you add 23. The 23 gets added to the end, so it becomes 1 to 27. So you have a die roll, so you'll do damage between 1 and 27. And it's done this way because the spear itself does only 1 to 4 damage, but he's adding 23. If he changes weapons, because we give him a new weapon, that plus 23 will carry over to whatever that new weapon does. So just think of that, and when you see that plus 23, it's not consistently doing 24 to 27 damage. He's going to be doing 1 to 27 damage, so it can be some wild swings. Definitely very roguelike in that nature. Our normal troops, our very basic troop is the pale one. They've got a decent hit point compared to other troops of the same type, so almost double what those troops have. No armor like those troops have, and then the shield like we saw before. But these guys have a spear that does 1 to 5 damage, which is a little stronger than the normal troops that other armies get again. And he has throw rock, 1 to 2 damage. So that's only at a range of 2, so he gets basically throw 1 rock before he starts losing effectiveness. So they do more damage, they have more hit points, balanced out by the fact that they miss on occasion as well. The slightly upgraded one is the Pale One Soldier, so they start with 1 armor, and then basically have all the same stuff, except they don't throw the rocks. And then this is something that's new to this class, is the Pale One Slinger. Has 10 hit points like the others, no armor like the others, but he has a sling, so he can do range attacks at a range of 4, which is less than the other ranged attackers, unfortunately, but this is something they didn't have before, a reliable source of ranged attacks. So sometimes citadels would be a detriment to them, having walls to defend actually hurt them. So that's the basics of our army. We got Tucson, who's also our caster. He's got 12 hit points, so he's kind of squishy, but he casts spells to make up for it. So he casts Strength, which allows us to get plus 2 strength to 3 different targets. Burst 3 means it'll hit a random set of 3 squares, and any of our friends that are there will get stronger, which means they'll do more damage, which can be useful. And then we have Stone Shards, which does 1 to 4 damage to 3 different targets. So Strikes means it will target specific enemies and do that damage. So very useful set of starting spells. And he's a backs, as you can see, his rank is back, which means he's in the back, and he'll be casting from there, protected by our front line. As you can see, he hangs out back here in this particular setup. Now, he also has rituals, because he is our Earth Reader. Earth Readers and Oracles can use gems, which is one of our resource incomes, to do certain things. So in this case right now, he can do Rituals of Mastery to learn new rituals. And if he does the regular Ritual of Mastery at 60 gems, he'll actually become a stronger caster, level 2, get access to new spells, and obviously get access to new rituals. So right now we can do Cave Temple Construction, which is a starting one for all of them. Allows them to convert one type of structure into another. We'll talk about that more in just a moment. And scrying right now, if I get blue gems, I can spend 5 of them, and I'll be able to actually look at unknown locations on the world randomly. So in this case, we're going to transfer up our whole army here. And if you're ever curious about what commands I'm using, you can see all the commands available here. So I hit the A key for all. for select, deselect all. You can also do some other keys, but we'll get into those later. But always use the question mark if you're unsure, and it'll walk you through it. But yeah, we're going to let's see, which way do I want to do this? All right, my lord is going to come down here. That is technically a cave wall, apparently. So this is one of the problems with the way they have Fog of War. It looks like it's an opening, but if we were to get down here, this is all cave wall, so this is actually a cave wall. So that's a glitch there. I'll make a note of it. So it looks like we can't really do anything else underground, so we go... Oops, I'm an idiot. Here. So this right here, this little icon, it doesn't tell you, unfortunately, in this, or unless you hit this, but it's a portal, and that's how we get up to the above ground. So we've got the whole army under Tucson, so he's going to do that, and then on the right here, you can hit Enter Gateway, and that brings us above ground, and we can see some of our other places we can go here. So this is probably something we'll want to take, because it'll give us access to red gems. And then you can hit the I key over any terrain tile to see it. We get gold, iron, and gems, which is very useful. So we're going to take our army, and then you can see that this is what the fight's going to look like. Dwarves are pretty tough. They've got lesser hit points, as you can see, half of ours. But they have 2 armor, a shield, and they do 1 to 7 damage. So they do more damage, have better armor, and the shield. The only detriment is they have half the hit points we do. They don't miss either, though. This guy does 1 to 8 damage. The 2 armor does not have the shield and an extra hit point. And then this is the Arbalest. It's their range unit. As you can see, range 7, almost double what our slingers can do, but only fires every 3 rounds because it does a massive amount of damage. So that can delete units. But interesting. Did they change things? Looks like Arbalists are now slow. That's interesting. Okay. I'll explain that in a bit here. So up here you see we have 3 action points. So as we move around the map, we use action points to move. Standard units have 3. If you're like cavalry, you get 4. And if you're like a siege weapon, you get 2. In this case, the Arbalest gets 2, apparently. And the other guys all have 3 because they're not slow. But that's a change that they did from 4. That's interesting. Anyways, yeah, so we have our 3. And then if you're curious about what the map has... Oh, I hit the end turn button instead of the I button, but we'll see it. But you can look at the map, and it'll tell you the number of boots, which is how many action points it takes to move. So battle in the coal mine. So if you have your battle reports on, you get this, which is good, because you can hit the view button, and that'll let you watch the fight. There we go. So that actually turned out. And then you can hit the stats button to see exactly what happened. So we didn't lose any troops. They lost all 5 of theirs, and we can see who did the kills. So the reason this is important, especially for newer players, is that you can view the battle several times. If you don't have that turned on, then basically what will happen is every time there's a battle, you'll have to watch it. And then when you watch it, you won't be able to rewatch it afterwards. So if something happened, you just don't know what happened after it passes without having to pause and look through the logs. So it's very useful being able to watch it multiple times. But in this case, pretty much the thing I was expecting. So we're going to go here, and we're going to go above ground. Now, normally this deep earth iron deposit, which is what we started with, is somewhere in the same hole as you, but I guess in this case, the random map gen put it in a different cavern. And unfortunately, these large spiders could take it from us, which would really hurt us, because I don't know, we don't have any troops that can get over there right now. So that's a bit weird, but did I did it again. All right, we're going to enter the gateway, and then that way I won't screw this up anymore. All right, so we got fishmen. These guys are cool. They've got good hit points. They've got a couple attacks. One's a special. This guy's even hardier because he's the leader and does some massive damage. But, yeah, they're just wandering around trying to raid things. So this is a Citadel. As you can see, Citadel. So you can recruit from here, which is very useful. It's also a monster lair, so if we leave it alone, it'll produce human troops from the king. And then basically it's a fortification, so siege combat can occur. And this thing has a catapult, so it'll fire in the siege, and it fires every 2 rounds. So there's 15 rounds in the beginning, negative 15 rounds. and it counts up to 0. And that's the siege round. So that's when siege weapons fire. So this thing will fire 7 to 8 times. And then normal combat begins. And it does a lot of damage. 1 to 30 damage to a random area. And, you know, that can definitely be a problem. So, so in this particular case, we do not want to attack that with our army because we'll get obliterated. Between that and the walls and the archers, we have to break through this gate. So yeah, there's just a lot of things that make that a bad idea. But it will be something we'll want to look at some point. Yeah. Anyways, we'll go ahead and see the world. And okay. So now we have a port here. So a port is also a defensive structure. Not as good as the stone walls here. We got wooden walls. But they got a lot of archers, and we don't. So that probably would not be a good attack for us right now. Alright. So I think that is all. So when you're done with everything... Oh yeah, we'll hit I to show you. Boots equal movement cost. So when you hit... when you're done with the commander, you hit the N button to go to next commander. And again, you can see them all here if you want to see that. And then when all your commanders are done, you can hit the Y button to end turn, or you can click the season in the upper left corner. So, Seal Guard. So you'll see in the messages here that there's recruitment offers. These are not steady offers. In other words, you can't always recruit them, but they'll come up randomly. So sometimes you're waiting for specific things to come up as opportunities present themselves. So, all right. Now, since we're giant size, all the action points, the costs here, the movement costs, is reduced by 1. So if I go in the jungle, instead of taking all 3 of my action points, it would only take 2. So that's one of the benefits for being giant size, which is why I have him alone, because he can explore a little easier. Like these hills, don't kill him. These dwarves, though, would probably kill him. So we're going to eliminate these serpents for now, just to show off a little bit why that... what is that? Diamonds. A little bit of why we try to avoid getting them into certain fights. Oh, well, that's really useful. Gems and gems. Yes, please. So these are gem deposits. So they give you gold and the gem of your of the showing. So we'll get some more green gems and blue gems, so we can actually do some scrying. All right. So yeah, and basically you're going out in the world, you're looking for new points of interest to capture and get more for your economy so that you can continue to build new units and so on and so forth, and just keeps growing and growing. So battle on the hill, so we're going to view it to show you what happens here. So in this case, you know, I'm a pretty mean guy, but I can only hit 1 target at a time, so swarms are a problem for me. And then you can see that we got poisoned, so we took some extra damage. So after killing 2 basic serpents, oh, why did I recover? Well, after killing 2 basic serpents, I took some damage, and that's going to happen against anything that can swarm. 4 dwarf workers. So that's why you've got to be careful with your lord here. But for me, we'll go ahead and grab those green gems for now, and we'll come and kill these guys for the blue gems. 2 archers and 4 spearmen. So these are your standard human troops. See, 6 hit points. And they're weaker, 5 hit points, but they do have a better range and more damage with their ranged weapons. So, okay. Battle in the mountains. So we'll hit stats. Of course, we killed the 4 dwarf workers. Well, let's see how much damage they did. So, as you can see, I'm down to 110 hit points. And healing is slow. So, but I'm back up again. What is going on? Normally you don't heal that quickly, so something is going on. Maybe it's a glitch, I don't know, but I'm not going to complain too much. So this is a graveyard. It has the monster lair tag. That means it will spawn, in this case, undead stacks randomly that will just go out and start harassing you. So you want to tag it if you can. In this case we can, to prevent it from doing that, so that you don't have to worry about it. Swan, giant snails. Okay, it's a lot of swamp. So we got that. We'll go this way. And we'll go ahead and enter. Battle and gem deposit. So we'll hit the stats and see that we murdered them without taking any casualties, so that's good. So we don't have to worry about that. Now it's winter. Winter affects movement, adds an extra action point cost to moving on these things. So in this case, with him, it just nets out to be no movement, or the standard movement. So in this case, we'll just go here. That's a full 3 movement. Here, I'm just gonna kind of explore and see what we find over here, I guess. I don't like going to the desert because it's 2 action points to move around, but we did find a couple of good gems. So Pale One Commander and Scout. So we're at 45 gold, so we're almost able to do a new recruit. Alright, 22 Desert Warriors. We're not taking that Oasis. Desert Warriors are the standard troop for the Scourge Lord. They've got a bow and a broadsword, so they hit hard on both accounts. No armor and no hit points and no shield, so they'll also die fairly quickly too. But yeah, that's pretty powerful. This guy's a caster, witchery level 1. These guys have poison bows. So yeah, that's going to be a tough thing to take with my lord. And 11 dwarves in this mine. Okay. Alright, at this point, we got to go with what we know. Oh, more gems. Okay. I'm not going to complain there. We're going to move north, and we're going to knock off these dwarves on these mines, because we definitely want the gems. And he would be better to get through the mines anyways at this point. Alright, so we got 14 gems. We could use this Ritual of Mastery. Let's see if we get something more useful. But at this point, we're going to save up a little because maybe we'll just make him a level 2 caster. It's a little longer going, but the other one's kind of a random thing. So we murdered all 3 of them with my Earth Reader. What did he do? He just... Oh yeah, he threw rocks at him, so very nice. All the bandits have ranged attacks, so generally speaking, you end up losing a number of guys, but cool. So we got the pyramid. We'll take this oasis. So the oasis gives you trade, and trade lets you trade for resources. Now it says 10 for 10, so it basically means 1 gold for 1 iron. Every point of trade lets you basically spend a gold for whatever resource. So if I want to buy iron, then I can do that. It will take 1 trade, which will convert 1 gold into 1 iron. So we're going to do that for now. Gems would be nice, but you need at least 2 trade to reliably get gems. So let's see. That's a lot of dwarves. But with your stone throwing, you're pretty good. Oh, I'll show this off. As you take damage, there's a chance you'll get afflictions as well. And unfortunately, he got the worst affliction you can get, which is Festering Wound. But basically, these can affect you. You can get blinded. You can, in this case, you got a Festering Wound, which gives you a chance of being diseased, and you heal at half rate. Once you're diseased, you can't be cured, and you'll basically die eventually. There's I think a 50-50 chance, if I remember correctly, that you'll take a point of damage and you'll never heal. So it could be in 5 turns that he drops dead. So he's got a limited life left. So all right, so we're gonna come up here. All right, I definitely want to take them out. 11 units. That's rough, but with our caster, I think we'll be okay. Yeah. You're constantly evaluating your attacks. So like this right here should be fairly easy for my lord. So I'm going to use my action points to scout as possible. And then we'll crash into the oasis. And we'll be able to take that. 16 versus the 11. The 11 dwarves. So dwarves... I think they do too much damage. We're going to go after the other dwarves over here for now. And something's already taken our mine there. That's not great. So we're going to go ahead and do our first recruit since we have... no, you know what? We'll wait. because the gold might be useful for finding caster recruits. So move here, and we're basically just going to cut across and get to this. And then we're going to have to retake our mine, and we'll get more troops from our home as well. So here we murdered them, but let's see how much damage we took. Nothing, really. Okay. And yeah, he healed up again. Interesting. I wonder if they gave him some sort of passive regen or if something's broken in the game. I'm not complaining right now. This guy's got himself a magic item. Alicorn. Poison resistance and cast heal in combat, so he can heal troops. Healing's a new thing too. If you guys haven't played Conquest of Elysium 5 yet, 4 didn't have any way to heal troops in the middle of battle, but now that is a thing. So, all right, we'll do that. And so, losing the game, you lose one of two ways: you lose all your commanders, or you lose your citadels. Let's see, you're forest or jungle. You're jungle. It doesn't matter which way I go. We're pretty much in the same step. Witchery. Is that serpent magic? Okay, that's poison. Yeah, I think we'll murder them pretty easily. And this is a magic library. Very cool. Sorceress, you don't want to mess with, especially a level 3 sorceress. Alchemist. Excuse me. So yeah, they've got a couple casters, good quality troops defending it. Again, low hit points, but 1 armor, and they hit for 1 to 8. Hit pretty hard. Crossbowman's on the wall. She's actually a level 2 caster, but because she has this, it boosts her path by 1. So she acts as a level 3 caster. She'll only have level 2 spells, but the way casting works is pretty interesting. Let me just do this. So right now we have just level 1. If we become a level 2 caster, we'll get a couple more level 2 spells to pick from. But as a level 2 caster, you can cast one spell or spell that is 1 down, and you can cast it twice instead. So as a level 2 caster, if I cast Stone Shards, I can cast it twice in a single attack instead of just the once. So that's kind of a neat thing. All right. Battle in the village. Stupid thing summons snakes, of course. So, because he summons snakes, he basically, I can't get to the caster to kill him because the snakes keep coming out. And the snakes have tiny, so that means 50% of the time you don't hit them. So we're just going to get overwhelmed by snakes. And so that Serpent Village killed us. That was the one spell I was hoping he didn't have. And, yep. So that's why the big guy is great, but, yeah, definitely a pain in the butt when you get something like that. So, all right, well, we were expecting to lose him at some point, so we have lost him early. That is usually my luck with this class. So we'll go ahead and murder these dwarves at least. So we're going to hit the stats button. We lost 1 soldier. We killed the dwarves. So as expected, we now have some diamonds. And we just got to come down here and retake our coal mine. It does speed up the turns though. Seal guard is cool, but we're not going to look at all of those until it's the swan, really. Alright, so we got that. We got our red gems coming back again, so that's good. Earth Reader for 73 gold. That would be great, but alright, we're going to let the swans do their thing. We're going to enter the gateway, and we're going to move up here. And we're going to do a recruit. So if you hover over a lair, or a citadel, sorry, and you hit the right, if you right click on it using a long right click, you can actually recruit directly from there. So let's see. You know what? We're going to use our iron here for some cavern guard, because that's going to be a huge improvement. And then we'll have one more recruit we can do because we have the gold, so we're going to spend that. on some slingers here. So these are some commanders and stuff. These are very cool, but not as useful right now as what we need here. So we'll do that. We're going to go above ground, and I'm going to kill those swan because they definitely keep wanting to take our stuff. So we've murdered that. So this unit, or this army here, is definitely a lot better. Still not going to take that tower though, but we can start wiping these guys out. Stupid serpent village. I should have been careful, but oh well. Pale 1 commander, ancient commander. It's winter, but doesn't affect us so much here. Do I take out this port? That's the question. We're going to take some damage for sure, but this port for this little lake. Ports are great, as you can see they give you trade, gold income. They're just a nice improvement over our other stuff, so might be a useful thing to do. And with our army, we'll be able to do it fairly easily. We'll just take some casualties. We're going to go this way real quick, because while I want the port, I think we need to just spend some time cleaning out these villages, because they give us 2 gold each, which can be useful. They just take all our movement to get through. So we lost to a pale 1 and a soldier. And that's basically because of well, hit view. So he also summons snakes, and he has venom. 1 to 26 damage on a single target. That's just insane. Poison, though, isn't immediate, so he's poisoned. He's got 17 poison, so he's going to keep taking poison damage, 1 per turn. Or, I guess, 3 per turn in this case, until he dies. And so he's going to die because of the poison. He's going to die because of the poison. And so, yeah, nothing much we can do there. But that's alright. Go ahead and murder our way through these serpent villages. Spider tribe. This one has a helm. Hit points +5, so that's good. He's got witchery spells, so we'll go ahead and see what that is next. Alright, so we'll hit the stats. We murdered them all without losing anybody. And we got that sun helm, which we can put on somebody. And then just to show you his spells, he's got charm. That could be useful on a single target. And then poison cloud. So the poison cloud's annoying, but... So we tried to charm, I think. Oh no, you're stuck in a net. Okay. Perfect. So we murdered them. We're now injured, though. We've got a Death Wish. That's just great, of course. So Death Wish is one of the newer ones, too. So normally you start in the rear because your rank is usually back. But now your rank moves up 1 with Death Wish, so you're at mid. So that means that he's going to be closer to the action and try and get himself killed, as you can see. He's doing a pretty good job of that so far. But we're going to keep pushing our luck because we have to. However, do I give him the extra 5 hit points, or do I give it to someone else? We're going to give it to him for now, just because he needs it now that he has his Death Wish. Oh, no. So, go ahead and do this. So we lost a Cavern Guard and 2 Pale 1 soldiers this time. Again, poison if you want to view it. And so this is going to be very useful for you to do, just like I'm doing, just to see what happened. And yeah, it's because he's got some sort of poison. If I can click right. Acid Cloud does 1 to 2 damage. That's nasty. And the sleep. So. And yeah, poison got us. So that sucks. So our army's taking a beating, but we've got enough for another recruit soon. So our recruit. We've picked up, 6 extra gold here per turn. So we're doing fairly well. We'll murder this. Okay, good. We found water as well. That's useful. Edge of the map is useful for keeping ourselves protected. And at this point, the Burgmeister got eliminated, so the Warlock destroyed him. So that happened to our our opponents here. And here we murdered the 4 snakes. No problem. Okay. So we've almost got enough gems that we can do this special ability. Just go here. Captain, 2 halberdiers. We'll go ahead and steal that. Looks like we got more resources here. I think we're going to go back to our Citadel. And Scout would be useful, actually. Scouts give you acute senses, so they can see stealthy units. And they don't suffer from the minus. And so it even has it in here. Even inferior race evolved from intelligent worms can see the need for good information. However, the Pale One Scouts manage to perform their tasks is still a mystery considering the limits of their one eye. There are some indications that some spark of the Olmec mind still resides in the brain of the Pale Ones. If so, it's possible the Pale One Scouts are gifted individuals with the ability to sense minds in their vicinity. However, it's more likely they use their affinity for slow movements in the dark to avoid detection while observing enemies with their big black eye. So, but yeah, he can see invisible units. That's the important thing. And that can be very important depending on the era. So we're going to do that. It'll set us back from doing another recruit, but we got enough for another set of cavern guards, so I want that for now. And then we'll probably look at doing some of those special recruits then. Alright. Yeah, and we're getting close to time here. Wanted to get some stuff accomplished for this because you can see we won. Nice and easy. Of course, those serpents are coming up behind. Do some scouting. Okay, good. We can murder these guys. There's 4 levies. Levies are the weakest of weak troops because they can't move as well, so they're usually just basic defenses, and they're the slingers. But you know, they are a fight. So okay, so we'll do this. All right. So we murdered all 4 of them with our slingers, as expected. All right, so we're going to use our special power. We're going to level ourselves up because we need to. So now I am the Earth Mind instead of Earth Reader, and I can awaken a Marble Oracle and his 2 guardians. Marble Oracle is attuned to Earth magic and cannot leave the location it was created in, so it gives us a little defensive structure for 80 gems. Not what I wanted, but you know, it is what it is. But more importantly, instead of just casting the level 1 spells, I now have level 2 spells. So I have Eruption, which does Burst 5, doesn't affect flying or floating, but it does 1 to 9 damage to 5 different targets at a range of 6, and it'll stun them if it hits them, which is good. Earth Meld's the other one, which is just a larger Earth Grip, which I don't think we need right now at this moment. We'll debate it when we're fighting certain enemies, but so we'll use our remaining movement to go murder these serpents before it steals my stuff. And we'll end turn. Alright, battle in the plains. We killed all the serpents. Alright. So yeah, at this point, I think we're going to beeline home. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, or 1, 2. No, we're just going to beeline home. That's just the smart move. So we'll go here. We'll pick up our new troops, and then we'll emerge, and I think we'll call it from there. So go down there, enter the gateway. Yeah, see, they took my deep earth deposit, which sucks, and because I don't know how to get there right now until I do some summons. So we'll get the right summons for sure, though. Let's go ahead and get ourselves Ancient Hurler. Could be useful. Throws a boulder every 2 rounds, and he hits pretty hard. Yeah, you know what? Let's get the Ancient Hurler. Grab all the troops here. Because that's a siege weapon, we can use that for our siege combat. Alright. Pale One Commander and an Earth Reader. Could get the Earth Reader. That would be kind of neat. You know what? Let's do that. Another caster could be useful. So with the caster, he becomes another commander, Rock Mind. Iron Skin, so he gives armor +2 to a single target, and then strength. Okay. Well, if you got strength, then we can go with Earth Meld with you. We'll put you together. Shift click allows you to select other units. And yeah, we'll enter the gateway. Still not enough to take on a catapult, but we do have enough to take on this port. So that's what we'll do in our next video. So we'll go ahead and call it here. As always, if you enjoyed the video, please like, comment, and subscribe, as mentioned before. This is a typical playthrough for the Pale Ones for me. I tend to lose my big guy pretty early. But in this case, we got to do some damage first, got to take some points of interest and everything like that. So so that was good. So yeah, so this is definitely interesting. So we'll see how it continues. So yeah, other than that, I will catch you guys next time.